Let's explore Zion National Park. Come on, everybody. Zion National Park is located in the southwestern portion of Utah. The park itself is over 146,000 acres and hosts over 4 million visitors per year. During the most popular times of year, a shuttle service is provided by the national park. There are 9 internal bus stops that take you throughout Zion Canyon. While the buses are very convenient, they can get rather crowded. Our first stop of the day was at the Visitor Center. The Visitor Center is located near the south entrance of the park and is a great place to start exploring. There's a wide variety of information available both inside and outside. This is also where you would acquire permits for some of the more strenuous activities. From the Visitor Center, we hopped back on board the bus and headed to the Court of the Patriarchs. From the bus stop, it is a short but steep walk up to the Court of the Patriarchs overlook. A short distance across the road, you come to part of the Virgin River. This was the first of many locations that to me looked like a painted photographic background. Our next stop was the Human History Museum. As you explore this museum, discover how humans have interacted with the water, animals, geology, and plants of the area, and how Zion, in turn, has affected the people who have visited and settled here. I absolutely love maps, and this 3D rendering of the Zion Canyon was just mesmerizing. There are various displays of plants, animals, and artifacts that were also part of this museum. During our visit, we were able to catch a ranger talk on the California condor. We were joking with the ranger about seeing a California condor appear on cue, and wouldn't you know it, a turkey vulture flew by. Turkey vultures are closely related to the California condor. They're just a little bit smaller. We learned during the talk that the condor can fly up to 150 miles per day. That would explain the large wingspan. I found it very interesting to see this natural bridge, even though it was very far away and very hard to spot.
I found the bridge. Way up there. Right there. We're getting rained on in the high desert, where it never rains.
Next, we hopped back on the bus and went to Zion Lodge to check into our room. We ended up getting a wonderful little cabin. The inside of the cabin was absolutely beautiful and very comfortable. The way the sunshine was reflecting off of the canyon walls was absolutely mesmerizing. As we were bringing our luggage in from the car, we saw this mama deer and her baby. It was so neat. Since the majority of day guests were leaving the park, the deer seemed to come out in droves. They were all around the resort, and not afraid of people at all. We hiked a short distance away from the lodge in order to see the stars late at night. It was absolutely amazing. Walking back to the lodge, you could see how peaceful the entire surroundings were. The morning brought more dramatic views of the canyons. Here's a slightly better view of what the cabins look like. Now we were off to the Narrows.
Folks, this next stop is the Grotto Trails for Angel's Landing, the Western Trail, the Cayena Trail.
Our bus driver acted more like a tour guide on this leg and even slowed down for some of the deer.
You can go on YouTube and watch that. This big red mountain directly in front of us coming up is Angel's Landing. As we make this curve up here, if you look out your left window, clear to top to feet. Right on this sky line right here is checking for condors.
Bus stop number 9 is where the Riverside Walk begins. That is what takes you to the Narrows. Instead of following the crowds toward the Narrows, we decided to turn left and discovered a beautiful portion of the river with a peaceful waterfall and hardly anyone here. We ultimately did want to see the Narrows, so eventually we made our way right. In case you are unfamiliar, the Narrows is the narrowest section of Zion Canyon in the park, and in order to get there, you have to walk through the middle of the Virgin River. The walk from the bus stop is approximately a mile until you reach the area where you need to enter the water. Even if you don't plan on fording the river, it is definitely worth the walk. The scenery is breathtaking, and the walk isn't so bad either. You can see by the crowds, this is where the trail ends, and you have to go into the water in order to get any further. I did not have the proper gear to go trekking through the water, but my hat's off to those who did. Even though the way back from the Narrows is along the same trail, the views are stunningly different. I don't know for sure if it was just due to the lighting, but this emerald green water was beautiful. I was also fascinated by this tree growing straight out of the rocks. At various points along the trail, there are areas where you can just sit down and enjoy the views. Back on the bus, we saw a sort of disturbing sight with an ambulance and 2 bicycles, but no people nearby. We took the bus all the way back down to the Visitors Center, which is stop number 1. The Visitors Center provides information regarding some of the more difficult hikes in the park. This is also the location of the main gift shop. As you can see, there's a large variety of items for sale in the gift shop. There's something for just about everyone. Souvenirs acquired, we headed back to the bus to head towards our final hike of the day. Some of these buses were absolutely massive. We took the bus to stop number 6 so we could go see the Emerald Pools. Our waiter at lunch said that it was a very easy walk and we wouldn't have any trouble whatsoever. He lied to us. Now, I don't feel he intentionally lied to us. I just think he had a differing opinion of what an easy walk would be. This trail was just slightly different than the one by the Narrows. This was very rocky and very steep. Definitely not something for the faint of heart. The views, however, were amazing. Here's another example of that great fake photo background.
That's the resort down there.
almost back to civilization. After crossing the river one last time on foot, we still got to drive through the park on our way to Bryce Canyon. Here we are about to enter the Zion Mount Carmel Tunnel. This tunnel is a well-known feature of Zion National Park, and it was built in 1930 and is over 1 mile long. Windows were installed periodically through the tunnel in order to help with airflow. There are restrictions concerning the size of vehicles that are allowed to travel through the tunnel. The vehicle can't be taller than 11 feet 4 inches or 7 feet 10 inches wide. Vehicles that exceed these dimensions require a special permit and a one-way traffic control escort. This might cause some traffic delays, but overall it keeps everyone safe who wants to use the tunnel. There was even more beauty to be found around every curve. Here we discovered a traffic jam due to some bighorn sheep that were right along the side of the road. I feel really bad for this car that nearly hit them as it came around the corner. I can only imagine how startling that must have been for that poor driver. Not to mention the poor sheep. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. It lets me know that you are enjoying the content.